Hi, my name is Sean. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I talk about pop culture retro stuff. Mostly comics. I am going to get into movies and stuff very soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a look at the ROM Space Knight Omnibus put out by Marvel Comics. This is Volume 1, the original Marvel years. What is ROM Space Knight? Well, ROM Space Knight was a toy put out by Parker Brothers in 1979. It was a stiff robot toy with light-up eyes and sound effects. It was blasted by Time magazine, and ROM actually is on the cover of Time magazine in an old 1979 issue, talking about how crappy toys have gotten. So there's that. But out of that toy came this comic book, and what happened was Parker Brothers went to Marvel Comics, and Marvel Comics then put out this comic written by Bill Mantlo, drawn by Sal Buscema, and the comic was immensely popular. Bill Mantlo is a genius. He created a very engrossing story that lasted for years and way outlasted the toy. Now, in recent years, I think ROM now falls to Hasbro because Hasbro bought Parker Brothers, and they tried to put out comics through IDW, and they weren't that great because they couldn't touch the storytelling of the original Marvel comics. And so Marvel has now snatched up some licensing rights for ROM Space Knight and Micronauts, and they're now going to put out trade paperbacks and facsimiles and omnibuses. Now, I already own the entire run of ROM, but I wanted the omnibus, and I'll show you why when I take a look at this omnibus. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the omnibus itself. So here is the ROM Omnibus Volume 1. It just came out a week or so ago. It's the original Marvel years, Mantlo, Buscema. Of course, Bill Mantlo wrote ROM comics, and it was so popular that it outlasted the Parker Brothers toy that it was based on. And of course, Sal Buscema doing the art. Okay, let's take a look at this. So here is the back. And of course, it has all the. I love when they do this. They have all the covers here. Of course, one of them is Power Man and Iron Fist, which this issue dovetails into. Actually, this issue, dovetails into this. So that's cool. This goes up to issue 29. So they're hoping to do 3 volumes out of this. They could have easily done it in 2 volumes, or maybe even one big giant volume, but they want to get their money's worth from, I guess, the licensing of getting back ROM. ROM is still owned by Hasbro, I think, and IDW is doing ROM comics, and I didn't really like those comics very much. Nothing beats ROM's fight against the Dire Wraiths. So let's take a look, and yes, that cracking at the spine. Let's take a look at the inside cover here, and of course you get the nice art here. Isn't that incredible? Okay. Whoo! Cracking at the spine. Okay, so here's the cover page. Here's all the credits. There's one of the there's a couple of the other Space Knights. Here's a Dire Wraith. Actually, I think that's the character that ROM fights in the whole X-Men crossover, of which they did a trade paperback about a few weeks ago. I saw it. Here's a whole write-up about ROM and the history and everything, by Chris Ryle. Here is some concept art. You'll see more of that. So here is the first issue of ROM Space Knight. We're going to do some comparisons to the original comic. So here I have the original comic. Here it is in all its glory. That's the original. Let's see if we can dig out the facsimile. Here's the facsimile. And you go, of course, the price is significantly higher. Approved by the Comics Code. So yes. sometimes the coloring in these omnibuses is different. So here you have a comparison. Of course, this is ink on newsprint, which tends to fade. I like the vibrancy of these omnibuses. It's partly why I get them. Everything seems intact. Now let's put that aside here. Here, of course, ROM comes to Earth. Everyone thinks it's a villain of some sort. He's scanning everyone. No one knows what he's doing. He's scanning them if they're dire wraiths, which are space wizards that can disguise themselves as anything. They implanted themselves in human society, and then he discovers that these guys are dire wraiths, but they look like humans. So he vaporizes them, and everyone's freaked out, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, you know. This was great stuff, right? And here you get some origin and everything of, like, you know, how he came to be ROM Space Knight. Let's do another check. Comparison. So so this is the original comic, but I notice, of course, the facsimile has all this stuff, and like the DC characters turn up like 3 times in it, which is pretty awesome. I love that. I love when like the GoBots turned up in Transformers comics and those Nestle Quick commercials. So here's some of the same that we got before. And then, wow, lots of commercials, eh? Right, so I have 2 copies of issue 1, so don't panic. It's the same art, same coloring. Of course, the original is faded a bit. You can see it's the same thing. The yellows have faded over time here. So that's part of the reason why I get these omnibuses. Nice glossy paper, nice presentation. Let's take a look at what else they do. So this is the first issue. There's no letters page. Each comic is separated by one of these pages. You see the old pinups are here as well. And you see the old bullpens are here, and the letters pages and stuff. Space notes. They know what to call these things. So it's cool, Bill Mantlo. Sad story about Bill Mantlo, so look it up. But he was an underrated writer. I think that he did a great job on stuff like you know, ROM Space Knight. I'm sure no one cared about doing this comic because it's based on a toy that failed in the toy aisle. Here's the whole X-Men crossover. I think this features the second, or at least very early appearances after the first appearance of Rogue. And as I said, there was a trade paperback put out just like a few weeks ago, just, you know, milking that ROM money. Just ROM meets the X-Men, and it was these issues. Here's more of the letters pages. Here's something cool. The U.S. Postal Service Statement of Ownership. So this is something that comics had to do in the 70s and 80s and 60s, etc., where they tell you about circulation and everything. It's pretty neat. And here's more of like the X-Men with ROM. More of the X-Men with ROM. Pretty neat. There are other characters too. Like, I think this guy's the Torpedo. Is that his name? Pretty cool stuff. Skrulls. Let's look at the back. So here's issue 28. And here's the a special announcement. Micronauts is now a full 32 pages, no ads. Yeah, this is towards the end of the Micronauts run. And that Omnibus is coming out soon as well. 29 is the last issue of this Omnibus. This lasted about 75 issues, this comic. So here is the extra stuff you get. This confused me as a kid because I would get back issues and I saw these ads for the toy and I thought, wow, they made a toy on ROM Space Knight, not knowing that the comic was based on a toy. This was also a commercial, and this was the first page of the ROM Space Knight comic, but they just turned it into a commercial back then. It's pretty awesome. You can get t-shirts of this. I've seen it. Here's some, there's a pinup. Here's some house ad stuff. Yeah, and just like pages from the time. Pretty cool. So yeah, if you like ROM Space Knight, I highly recommend you getting this. It's pretty awesome. And if you're curious, yeah, take a look at these. These are pretty cool. This will be 3 volumes. You know, as I said, it could have been shortened, but it's a great series, very well written. You'll love ROM Space Knight after about like the first or second issue. He's awesome. He's a guy trapped in this metal body to defend the universe against the Dire Wraiths, which are you know, evil demonic space wizards. They're pretty awesome. So that's it for my look through of the ROM Space Knight Omnibus. Until next time, take care.